What's up, baseball players? In today's video, I'm going to talk about changeup locations. So if you've learned how to throw a pretty good changeup, in today's video, we'll talk about where to throw it based on the count, based on the situation. What are the most common locations you should actually throw your changeup to so you can get the best result with it. Whether it moves a lot or moves a little, where you locate it is huge. All right, so let's jump into this. So the first thing to understand is that with changeups, you want contact most of the time. At the very least, you want a swing. And the reason you want a swing is you're going to throw this pitch in the zone. It's not going to have as much break as your changeup as your curveball or your slider. But if you throw your changeup right, and I'll link in the description below to my video about how to throw a good changeup that can have a lot of sink and run to it. If you throw your changeup where it does have a good amount of movement, it's still not going to be enough to really get hitters to reliably wave at pitches the way you would with a curveball or slider, where it has where the break is a larger component of the pitch. So more pitchers are going to throw a changeup that's pretty straight or has a little bit of movement, maybe 2 to 6 inches, something like that, and that's going to be great. But that's going to be more often giving you off barrel contact and less swing and miss. So you're going to get the most swings and misses when you have a really good speed differential and when you throw your changeup in smart situations. All right, so let's jump into some of the locations you're going to want to throw your changeup. So when the count is 0-0, so first pitch of the at-bat, or you're behind, meaning 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 2-1. When it's the first pitch or you're behind, you definitely just want to aim this changeup down the middle. And the reason is obvious, but here's the thing that's really special about changeups. Say you're 2-0, right? As a pitcher, you've fallen behind and you're really in one of those worrisome counts, 2-0 or 3-1. So say you're 2-0 or 3-1. If you throw a big, sharp-breaking curveball 2-0, what's the hitter probably going to do? He's probably going to go, oh, man, what was that? Because they're looking so dead red on 2-0 and 3-1 that when they see something with spin, they see that big curveball or they see that sharp slider, they're more likely to kind of go, what is that? And flinch at it and take it. That happens a lot. Sure, lots of times hitters do swing through 2-0 curveballs, 2-0 sliders, but because the curveball is so much different than what they're looking for, a lot of times they'll take it, even if you throw a really good one. And so you won't get the result that you want, which is that weak ground ball and ending the at-bat on 2-0. So with the changeup, and this is why the pitch is really special, if you can throw a 2-0 changeup or a 3-1 changeup or a 2-1 changeup right down the middle, when a hitter is looking dead red and trying to get geared up to smash a fastball into the gap, if you can throw that changeup right down the middle, it doesn't even have to move. They're always going to be on their front foot. And then what happens is they've committed to swinging 2-0, but now they're on their front foot and they lose all their power. And now they're going to hit a blooper, they're going to hit a weak ground ball, and you've ended the at-bat when you were really far behind. So it can completely shift the balance of power in the at-bat by being confident that, yes, I do want to throw my changeup right down the middle because I want the hitter to swing at it. Because if I throw it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles per hour slower than my fastball, and this hitter is geared up to hit fastball, if I just pipe that changeup, I'm going to win the at-bat right there. I want them to swing. I want them to put it in play. That's the best attitude and the best change and the best location for your changeup when it's the first pitch of the at-bat or you've fallen pretty far behind. The next location for your changeup is a borderline ball or strike. And this is going to be when you throw this, or you're going to throw this on an 0-1 or 1-2 count, or sometimes 1-1 count, like an even count. Now understand, you're most often going to throw your changeup to opposite sided hitters. So if I'm a righty hitter, which I am obviously, and you're a lefty pitcher, you're going to use the changeup to me more often than you might use your slider or curveball because the changeup is going to break away to opposite-sided hitters. So if you're a righty, and I know 80% of pitchers are righties, you're going to throw this more to lefties. And so for you, when you're 0-1 or 1-2 or 1-1, your goal is to throw that borderline ball strike version, which is either going to start on the outer half and sink away and tail away to the outer corner, outer third, or just start and your goal is for it to end up on that outer third of the plate. And the reason is, as you throw that changeup and the hitter is fooled by it, right, the speed change, and they start to leak power forward, they're going to have to throw their hands out to hit that pitch. If you leave it on the inside part of the plate, if it sinks a lot, they can still swing over top of it. But if you leave this one up or it kind of sinks into their barrel, they can still kind of lift that down and pitch a little bit better. So it's best to go away, you know, start on the outer half, start on the outer third, and then as they're sinking away and their hips are pulling them here, they're gonna have to throw their hands out to make good contact. So the second good changeup location is the outer half, outer third, where it ends up being a borderline ball or strike. So the last location where you want to throw your changeup is the 0-2 location, and that's going to be bouncing on the point of the plate. And when you're 0-2, your main goal is just to get a strikeout if you can, because you're so far ahead. If you can get that strikeout, it eliminates all the bad luck, right? The blooper falling in, the swinging bunt that the hitter beats out, you know, the shortstop making an error, all that stuff. That's bad luck that you can't control. So when you're 0-2, you have a lot of, you know, you're way ahead, you have a lot of pitches to play with, and you don't want to play with them. You always want to use them with intention. But our goal here is let's try to get a strikeout on 0-2. That way, all those bad luck outcomes will not come to fruition. So your goal is to, if you have some sink on that changeup, is to sink it so it bounces on the point of the plate. That's going to stay a strike the longest. If it bounces back here, it's probably going to be hittable, which we don't want. And if it bounces on the plate or about 6 inches in front, it's still going to be pretty good. But if it gets closer, like, you know, 3 to 6 inches in front and beyond, it's going to start to look like a ball out of your hand. So the one that's going to look like a strike the most and get hitters to swing at it is when it bounces on the point of the plate. So that's for 0-2, you know, or 1-2 when maybe first base is open or it's a tight situation. Obviously that can change depending on, again, the game situation. But in general, when you're 0-2, bounce on the point of the plate. When you're ahead 0-1 or 1-2, you want to throw a borderline ball strike. And if it's the first pitch or if it's an even count or you're behind in the count especially, you just want to pipe that changeup down the middle and let the speed change and the movement, if you can get some, do its work. Because again, a good changeup is going to be very deceptive. You're going to get hitters leaking on the front foot. So all you have to do is pitch to contact with it and let them get themselves out. That's the beauty of the changeup. It's going to get more swings because it looks straight out of your hand. It's got a different look than a curveball or slider. So it has its unique sets of strengths and weaknesses. The other thing to remember about the changeup is that you don't have to be super fine with it. You don't have to throw it on the black. You don't have to bounce it every time. Throw it for the white of the plate and be confident that the speed change and the little bit of sink and run will do the job. All right. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out my books and online courses, which you'll find in the description below. Those are ways to support the channel and your own baseball knowledge. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.